Hello, this is Jake Light, Gaming Lawyer at your service. We're once again back with the Great Ace Attorney, alright? We're gonna do this, right? We're gonna finish this goddamn crap. We're gonna find out which evidence match which. But we'll see. I think there was something about not related to the man. Should I press this? Because it's not exactly the statement I could object, right? This, right? I think it's this statement. Maybe it'll give me some sort of extra options to do. I guess I have to present some sort of evidence. Didn't allow me to. But it was some lowly. You know what? I don't want to waste my time. I already know how it's connected. I'm gonna see how it's connected. All right. What evidence should be? The press statement 1. Wait, really? I need to press all the statements to find out who he is? Right, let's do all the statements then. So, is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted. How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information. No, stop. Must say something. Stop. Let me guess. Juror number 5. We regular communication stations officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. The team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Grayson is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idle. Stop. So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon? Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors so they can't be heard. And in that case, all messages are sent enciphered. Normal employees who couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no, stop. Must say something, stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the Cipher Cracking Convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating. Your colleague is snitching on you. He probably feel like trying to kill her now, right? Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently the presence of the idle stuff. Well, your idol would appreciate if you keep your mouth shut. You should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. Wait, I already pressed this. Shit. Oh wait, which means possibilities could be in fact be used. My need to take this one as possible to repeat myself. The court needs no place for mere possibilities. Present this second this and which you speak. All your arguments stand in the water. I just can't do that at the time. And may I remind the court that as the witness has pointed out, he was not the only blah 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 extracting deal with the disc or discs. Right. Same question, same answer. So the defense is able to show a connection between the brickmaker and this witness. Finally, he's got me. I have to find a decisive piece of evidence here or it's all over. Wait, no, not yet. Right, I'm gonna find out again. Okay, best. You can choose option 1 too, but only to you guys some fun backstory. Statement 3. Right. Objection. Okay. Mr. Ashley Milverton, tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gotten by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. Explain yourself, please, counsel. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand to have been negotiating with Mick Gilded. Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. That's right, only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. Milverton? Do you mean to say saints alive? Mr. Ashley Milverton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? Ugh, I don't. As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you join the civil service. It really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. Grrr. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it on to McGilded in collaboration with your father. Ah! Wait, you're pointing at the wrong person. The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded. By dint of this music box, you mean, counsel? Yes, stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGilded. Mr. Graydon concocted his elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever. But the deal with McGilded went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, he appeared at Windybanks 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. this time determined to recover the second disc. Are you suggesting the second disc was inside the music box?
We will never knew nothing about that.
On the night that Mr. Windbag was killed. Dun! The intruder to the pawnbroker touched one item and one item alone, the music box. As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the two prints from the security camera, indeed. So, the question that naturally begs answering is this. Why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since, if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Sir, please calm down. There appears to be blood seeping through your sleeve of your jacket. What? 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Widibank's pawnbrokery. One took the life of the pawnbroker himself. One struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? He's got you now, me old China.
Time to quit and croak, I reckon.
Tisk. Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly I was a fool to think I could trust some common back slum thieves. Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windybanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me, and as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets? Negotiating with Mr. McGilded? We're still doing the dance. As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. Is that going to go down with a fight? Without a fight, until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... Well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulking brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the bullet from Mr. Windybank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon's on the arm. Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself. And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windybank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder. Goodness! That's right, Mr. Graydon. Grrr. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windybank that night is you. It's cracked. Ha 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 ha. You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbroker's. I did my best to hide the fact. Naturally, I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I'd built for myself at the communications station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, this makes me a key witness in the case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. What? Are you suggesting? I saw it all. I saw the very moment that a pickpocket girl pointed a gun at the poor, defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. You... What? It's not really that shocking, though. Order! 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 Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial. Mr. Graydon? Yes? I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Oh, I understand fully. Then I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant initially shot the victim. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Oops. Oh no, it's becoming a habit. I need to stop doing that. Alright. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Windybank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood spatter all over the wretched girl, and she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. Something's quite wrong over there. Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary false testimony. You claim, sir, under oath to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. Order! 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 It was my intention to testify in this way, but neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. The truth? Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, I'm sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood spattered over the accused's coat. Are you sure of that point? Oh yes, quite sure. All the black coat that the pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Really? Really? If her coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, there would be conclusive evidence here. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. What? Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's the true science, not some amateurish detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry.
There's nothing dubious about Manly's work. His ideas are all around, all sound.
Ideas are no use to us here in science, as in law. Theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of chemical reagents used, with your lordship's permission. We could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes.
This doesn't look good, Bruno.
Why not? Well,
we know, don't we, that there's blood over the front of Ginny's coat. If they test it with their chemicals...
Oh, help! You're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday. But the blood was purple color.
Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot.
Why? Yeah, it's purple color. But Windybank's blood is blue. But that's not Windybank's blood. That stains from 2 months ago. It's Mason Blood's. From when he was stabbed by Gilded, who was wearing the coat at the time. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution. Overruled. Lord Von Zix, make it so at once. With pleasure, my lord. While we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Oh no, I'm doing it again. Once they find the blood on the overcoat, we'll be... Counsel! Yes, my lord. Your cross-examination! Of course, my lord. This cross-examination doesn't go well. If I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or really compelling a clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. And this was she was just jostling with Broker. I was near the entrance to the shop. While on Windybank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. Okay. You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, I thought I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the three men were brawling. It wasn't exactly that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. The bullet went on to strike the calendar in the wall behind you. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would be still bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Windybank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well, now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home.
When I pulled me gun on him, he tried to shove me out the way. And then he scampered through that door at back.
At which point, what did you do? Pursue the man sharpener. You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. What about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom's door is a solid job, made of stout wood. But there's a small opening in it about head height that lets you see what's in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night. And what about your burgling brothers? Did you see what went through this peephole as well?
No, lovely job. Didn't they never use a circle?
I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of the peephole's existence. So the Skulking brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windybank take place. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there. The defendant? Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised a gun and pointed it straight at the man. And then, what did you see next? Problem is, using black both shot man barracks was right. Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. That was Mr. Windybank's gun, for which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. Ah, but no, it wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windybank's gun grazed my arm. And yes, the Skulking's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely, a third gun. The broker's gun was not a murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time. But no other gun was found at the scene. Ha 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 ha. Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry. You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, and then all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was at the moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back. A chilling image, I must say. Right. All over her. Yes, through the peephole I saw it clearly. Of course the stains are invisible now, what with the coat being such a dark color. Yeah, not sprays all over the coats and just the coat, apparently. But I assure you, the garment is sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it is sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Mr. Windybank's blood, is it? No, that's not right. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood from when Mr. Gilded stabbed him 2 months ago. So annoying. If only except Hurley's chemical analysis could prove that. But it won't. So unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case. Border. Ah, I can't stop myself from ticking. Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room. That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole onto the floor on my side of the door. Why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose we were worried about just leaving it there in case any more tragedies took place. How convenient. So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Yes, it was yours, truly. I left it clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up? We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Flute Ear told us to tidy up. Here, can you say it's all blooming man, James? Well, I was paying you enough, by God.
Ugh.
Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with a second disc in your jacket pocket? You're like a bull at a gate, aren't you?
Excuse me.
Gentlemen? Ha! 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 Jumping around, sunshine? That should be my line. You do realize you were just finally shaking Mr. Skulkin?
Why, man? This day is a bit of a hooligan, ain't he?
What was going on just now?
You saw him, he grabbed me whistle. Why the places he say dear you mentioned the third gun when we got you down the station?
Why didn't you?
Cause we didn't know nothing about it. All that flaming people in the door.
Sorry about that. I can be prone to be losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you?
God blimey. See the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you, this day is giving me the wheelies.
That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as he is. That will normally grab someone.
No, that wasn't like Rexy at all. He's normally all sweet and like, no matter what I say to him.
Yes, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris.
Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character.
Alright. I don't think I want to read this. Just the end of the testimony. We right there should be in the bag, so what's going on? Why should this has to be accepted as into my mind and it wasn't? Detectives can use test tubes too. Never mind that. I have to find really sucky accessible anyway. Find it before they consider this sums the blessing on the genus coat. Alright. You know what? Time's up again. I have to stop over here. But rest assured, I will finish this, alright? I will finish this. It's just that you won't be able to see it maybe soon, but I'll show you. I'll see to the end of this. I promise. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this stream. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Right, so we'll figure this out next. So take care, stay hopeful, but be critical. Alright? Ta-ta, bye-bye.